Welcome to Get Heavy Podcast. With your host, Craig Kasamis and Big J Curran.
Okay.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Get Heavy Podcast. Coming at you live on a beautiful Tuesday night. I just got back from Vegas, so we pushed a podcast a day. Sorry about that. We have an awesome guest. Surprise guest, actually. Second time on the podcast. We're very excited to have him on.
One of my
Howie,
favorite human beings ever.
one of the best human beings on planet Earth. Incredible tattooer.
Okay. Yep.
Incredible artist. Incredible man all around. So thank you for coming on, buddy.
Thanks for having me back, guys.
This isn't really going to be an interview because we already got. If you guys listen to the last podcast, we got all the things out. About
there's a lot. We got a lot out there.
There's a lot
for
we got
sure.
a lot out. But today we're just excited to have you on, dude.
I had a lot of people reach out to me after that
Did you?
podcast. I don't know if I ever told you guys.
No.
I think I meant to, and then I took a bong hit and forgot.
Yeah.
But
That is Howie in a nutshell.
Yeah, totally.
Right there. That is all Howie in a nutshell.
yeah, I had a lot of people reach out. Saying different things, like they thought it was cool, how I came out and just kind of told the story of everything, and so many people mentioned things like they had no idea, like you were in prison, and this and that.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Well, it's kind of like Howie lore that we know here, but you're an established artist, and I can't imagine it's like the first thing you lead with, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm Howie. I've been to jail.
Yeah. I know, I'm sure we talked about this before, but it will always, I know this about you. I totally understand, but it still doesn't, it's just this weird thing to me that you are insanely fluent in Spanish. Like,
really?
Spanish. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
He helped the Mexicans, like the guys that
I was helping people study and
I
Really?
was trying not to say paisa. Is what I was
I knew
saying.
what you were trying to. I knew exactly what
So
you were trying
I didn't
to do.
say
5 minutes of the podcast, we're already getting canceled. That's great.
But yeah,
Although paisa is a word that all Mexicans use.
it's common. It's common usage.
And it's not
But
a
according to
derogatory
gringos,
comment.
they're
It's a
like,
cowboy.
No.
Paisa's a slur. And you're like, no, Paisa's a point of pride for a lot of people.
absolutely,
man.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
How do you know what's the Spanish connection?
There is none, really.
You just know that shit?
I mean,
You just use your big Jewish brain to get
That's
the whole ass
exactly
another
what it
language?
is, bro. That's exactly what it is. Yep, got him
for
doing
debate,
his
but-
time and shit was that big fucking Jew brain. Yep. And the dick to match. I don't know. At least that's what I've heard from most women in Ventura.
I do okay.
Yeah, we know.
Okay.
We know.
Even uncircumcised, huh? Or Jews are
It's part of
circumcised.
the tribe. God,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
circumcised
He
from
got
day
his
one.
dick-
Yeah,
he got nibbled.
Was there at any point a priest put his mouth on your penis?
Yeah, he got nibbled.
not that I remember.
Yeah, well, that got awkward.
But it is a thing, right? That was actually,
Maybe not then, but maybe later.
I've gotten a
It's
lot
actually
of...
a rabbi. Well,
Lamoille.
Lamoille.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They've got that little.
they do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it originated, they snipped it with their teeth.
No, they would do
Yeah,
it,
they
and then
full
they
of
would.
shit.
The
That
tradition
would be
It
was
wasn't just the Catholics.
no.
bro.
The tradition was they would do it,
Did you
and
guys
then they
have some
thought their
structure behind
saliva
it?
had healing properties,
Yeah.
and they would put it on their mouths. So here, I'm going to tell you
It's
honestly.
so funny. I'm calling everybody on bullshit lately. I can't tell what's real and what's not anymore.
No, this is real, right? The biggest argument I've ever had with my mom was about not circumcising my children.
Okay.
We had a fucking whole entire blowout about it. Right? Like I said, I came home at 19 with this
remember,
shit,
yeah.
right? 18 with a septum ring, my mom lost her fucking mind. The next biggest fight we ever had was about me not circumcising my children, right? Because it is a part of a weird tradition, in my opinion, where that is what that's normally what happens, right? I'm not saying all priests put their mouths on penises, but it is.
But
It's,
a lot of them
it's
do.
a part of
A lot of
weird,
them.
like a weird tradition.
Hey
right?
man,
And I'm
if there's good
circumcised.
stuff in those
Yeah.
mouths,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah, it
who
could be.
knows?
It is.
you know?
It's really
I
weird that's what we all kind of look at it, and then lately the Pope's talking about
Yeah, we're gonna get into the Pope for sure. Yeah, but
Before he gets
I
into
mean, as
someone-
far as
Oh.
like the Jewish tradition, they don't have. They're not even fucking close to the atrocities that the Catholic religion has
Yeah,
done.
thank
right?
God. Let's
I mean,
hold on to that
Israel
as long as
Palestine
we
might
can.
be a fucking conversation,
Right,
which
right,
I'm
right.
definitely asking about later. But yeah, that was the biggest fight I've ever gotten in with my mom. And she was like, "It looks gross." I'm like, "Why does it matter what my children's dicks look like?"
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
I'm completely circumcised, right?
Yeah.
So I also don't know how to take care of an uncircumcised penis. It's a whole fucking, it's
Sure.
a whole
Oh,
mystery,
yeah.
dude. Like, but they put pressure on you when you have kids, like especially boys.
Well, for
boys,
health
right?
reasons is what they claim. You know, they say
they
it's
claim,
health
right?
reasons and
Right.
cleanliness and
So
all
you
these types of
didn't- yeah.
things.
You didn't?
I didn't. Neither of my boys are circumcised, which is weird.
I have a couple other friends who didn't do that to
it's-
their, current times that didn't do that.
Yeah.
One of them, the reason was because he just wanted his boy to get the full issue.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't want him to get shorted in any way.
Right?
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
right.
get your full deal. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Hey,
who knows
Chris,
what.
Chris didn't do it with Ethan, and then Ethan got to be about 6 or 7, and I got some Milwaukee scissors and handled that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't even understand why Chris didn't do
He
it
couldn't
to
even
begin
just
with.
say it's scissors. He said Milwaukee scissors.
They're sharp
Like, you get them at
scissors, dog.
Lowe's or something.
They're sharp scissors. They're good scissors.
He hired a day laborer to come in and do it.
Exactly.
Somebody had to hold him
father,
down.
son, the
The
Holy
whole fucking, hey, Ethan's a little small, but he's fucking tough, dude. It was not
Yeah.
easy holding
That's
him
why
down.
I do have a few friends that I know that have got circumcised later in their lives because of medical issues and shit, right?
Whew. Could you imagine? Like, I can't even wrap
dude.
my head around that being like a grown man.
It's wild.
Hey, doc, think you could do something about this?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
that's crazy
Most
to
of
me.
them
That's
I
just
know
crazy
that
to me.
got
Yeah,
it
I'm
done
with
by
you.
their teenagers too, which
That's
you
gnarly.
you know that as a teenager, boners just come.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't control
No pun
a
intended.
boner at all. Dude.
Yeah.
Like you're at like literally you have no power over your
Yeah,
penis.
yeah, completely
Like
powerless.
as an adult, like when you start to become an adult, you're like, I can kind of control this a little bit, you know.
Now, as an
But,
old
like-
man, you're like, please just work. Just give me something, man. Please, so she stops
Holy
bitching
fuck.
at me just a little bit. And I'm scared to have Viagra because I'm going to have a heart attack while I'm fucking trying to get on top of her, and I'm going to pass out, and she's got to deal with my sweaty fat ass on top of her. And
I feel like those are common
man,
themes
that's
with
a
you
lot.
anyway. Honey's in the corner right now. She's nodding. She knows what's up, dude. You ever been jackhammered by a soft fucking piece of dough, dude? You know what I mean?
she's all yesterday. Yesterday.
Totally. Yeah.
He gave it full effort, though.
Yeah.
It was
Anyway,
nice.
what I'm saying is it's really nice to have you on, dude. I'm very excited to have you here.
Hey, I did since I knew we were having one of the brethren here and one of the Jewish people.
Is it matzah, dude?
I won't eat
no,
gefilte
the
fish,
matzo ball?
just so you know.
It's pork belly. I got solid pork
is that a
belly.
violation?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, blatant
yeah,
violation.
yeah,
But we'll get into that.
It's not
We'll get
kosher.
into that.
I don't think.
Oh, yeah,
Try
yeah.
some of that.
You made this?
Yeah, no, that's that smoked pork belly I did, man. That shit is bomb.
Oh my
Kenny,
god.
get a piece of this candy,
That's
man.
like candy.
Get in there, man. That's some pork candy right there, baby.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you're violating laws and shit.
every day,
Every day.
every
Yeah,
single day of
right.
my life.
Right.
I am just a horrible Jew.
Yeah.
In general, like,
you're a cultural
what's
Jew,
that?
right?
You're both like you're more of a modern Jew.
Yeah, it's funny.
But you
I was
do
just
respect
explaining all
a
this
lot
to
of the
Sadie
stuff,
the other
man.
day. She was
Yeah.
asking me about like there's levels to Judaism, you know, and she was asking me, she's like, "What are we?" And I was like, "Well, it's not that we are or we aren't or whatever. It's just the way we practice now. You know, like I don't really go in for the whole religion thing now too much.
Right.
I do what I do for the holidays for my parents. Like granted, like most of them aren't here now, but there's while my folks were here, I would go to temple because that's our heritage. That's who we are,
Right.
And I wanted
Right.
Sadie to know and my kid to understand
Yeah.
that this
It's
is who
important.
you are,
Right.
At least part of it,
Yeah.
And so, we were going through it the other day, and she was at because we saw, on the bridge on Channel Islands coming in from Ventura to Oxnard, right there where Harbor turns.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So
There's a big
we-
swastika with Jews go home.
no, quite the opposite. All the Jews were there.
All right.
You see all that? You see right there. We always know. No. This has been going on for years. This is like I'll see the I'm having a brain fart right now.
That's so weird.
On my own people. I'm having there's like Reformed, which is like the lowest kind of level, is very lax and relaxed, and there's conservative, and then there
like Orthodox.
Orthodox. Thank you. I was just brain farting on the word. I was having a major brain fart.
Those guys got the curls. They're digging tunnels.
Yeah, we call them Hasids. Like they're, you know, they were. You see them walking across. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them, but like large groups of them walk. There's something over near the like Toppers and Peninsula and Channel Islands.
Oh, really?
There's something back there because I see groups of Jews back there in full black with the curls and tefillin and tallis, the whole nine, the hats.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was any Hasids around
Often,
here.
yeah. Like these
So
are
there's a
real
Shabbat
deal.
right there at sunset.
Oh, there is. That explains it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I know. Thanks, honey.
Yeah. Honey coming through strong.
Yeah, dude. They're deep.
Yeah.
And so we were coming into Oxnard. Sadie saw him. She's like, "Dad, what kind of Jews are those?" And I was like, "Those are real deal Jews right there, baby." Like
We just got the nose, baby girl.
like that's not us. Yeah, that's a whole different deal. Like
These motherfuckers are dead serious.
yeah, they are bout it.
Yeah.
You know, like
they're like the Baptist like church of Jews.
right,
So
yeah,
like
very much
evangelical.
yeah,
fucking
no, 100%,
like full blown fucking Jews,
all
like,
the way.
Almost like holding snakes.
They're not.
you know
They're
what I
not
mean?
Jewish.
No,
you know, they're
yeah.
really Jewish.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's a big difference. But I mean, you're culturally Jewish, right?
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much.
And I went. I mean, like I did it all. Like I was raised Jewish.
Yeah.
I went to temple. We went to Shabbat services on Friday night and Saturday mornings, and I went to Hebrew school and learned how to read, write, and speak Hebrew.
Right,
and I was bar mitzvahed. All these things. But you know how it is. Like as a kid, you don't really like most of the time. You tend to not question things a lot.
Of course, yeah.
You know, you kind of tend to just accept things as is, and what your parents say is gospel. You know, and so
until you figure out your parents are dumb.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah,
incredibly.
I remember
dumb.
the moment I figured out like my parents were. Yeah, I remember the moment I figured out like my parents were infallible humans, and I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
Like my mom is a saint in a million ways.
Right.
Like raised 1,000 illegitimate children, has been there for every fucking kid that's ever needed her, all these incredible things, you know, and then like you either between my mom and dad, like at one point you realize like as a teenager, depending on how insane your childhood is, you realize your parents are infallible humans, and they are indoctrinated to the things that they were raised with, right? And it is our job as a next generation to almost rebel or think a different way. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
At least to a degree, for sure. You know,
100%. Yeah. But also, it takes you a long time to realize that, like, you can honor tradition
absolutely,
and not be compromising your values.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that, you know, having married a Jewish person at one point.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, Sarah.
Yeah.
I married a Jew and got to be part of the culture. And one of the things that I really, 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 truly fascinated me and I respect and I loved, and I wish that every culture did this, you know, being Irish, we're not like, my dad's like, well, we went from this town to this town to this town, and we ended up in Butte, Montana, because that's where we mined copper, because my grandpa was a coal miner or a copper miner in Butte, and then ended up in Washington, and then that's it. Like, you don't get nothing else.
Right.
When I ask him about anything, it's like, yeah, we're a bunch of fucking alcoholics who live in Butte, Montana. That is literally what I get.
Yeah.
You know, but when you...
That's your family tree.
That's it. That is it.
Yeah.
Period. But when I was around Sarah and I was in this culture and learning about this stuff, what I blew my mind and I love so much, and I think everybody should do it. You know what I mean? Was you sit down for whatever holiday it is where you sit down and tell the stories of your family. Which one is that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Tell the stories of your family.
Where you kind of go through your history and you talk about it. And
I've never done that. I mean, like, we've celebrated all the holidays, but I'm not.
It was like it's the one around Christmas, I think.
Hanukkah?
And maybe something Shabbats.
Well, Shabbat's a weekly thing.
Okay, I'm horrible at this, but what they would do is we
name
sat
the
down,
Jewish holiday.
But we sat down and they went through and were like, okay, this was our this is our family from here, and this is what they did, and this is what happened, and this is what, and we sat around and talked about, and then they fucking made me eat gefilte fish, which is the nastiest shit ever.
I will not eat that shit. That shit is.
But the history of the family is what I appreciated. It was like to carry on the culture and the appreciation and understand what we went through, and this is why we still try to make sure that we still do this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's fucking crazy that all of a sudden this whole, like, okay, we got past this, we understand we're all kind of the same, and now all of a sudden, like I feel like I got to defend Jewish people again. It's fucking
weird
insane,
time.
dude.
It's a weird time for sure.
Yeah,
it's a weird.
Didn't we
it's a
get
very
past
weird
this?
time.
Didn't we figure this out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Shit is very real right now.
Oh my god, dude! It's
Sadie and I ran into some madness in Westlake a couple months ago. Yeah, there was just rioters on both sides just going at it. They tried to flip this car over. Sadie was like, "Dad, look, they're trying to turn the car." I'm like, "Dude, this shit is. We need to get the fuck out of here."
Yeah,
like this is crazy. It was madness. It was at the corner of TO and Westlake Boulevard. It was like major intersection.
Was it like a Palestine, Israel
Palestine thing? And it was madness. And I'm like, you know what? Like, let's bounce. Let's get out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Was just trying to get through because all the traffic was stopped. It's a major 4-way intersection,
Right.
So, and we were pretty much stuck there until we were able to actually physically.
It's insane that this thing that's going on, which is a big deal, but how it's completely flipped something that we've worked so hard as a culture to like, okay, this happened at this point in time with Nazis and Germany and all this stuff, and then we've seen the plight, we've seen what it took to get here and what it took to get through all of the stuff that the Jews had to go through to get to a place where they could be accepted and get these things figured out. And then all of a sudden, in like the last 7 or 8 months since this stuff has started, all of a sudden it's okay to fucking like criticize and hate Jews.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, we've spent how many years going like, look at our history and look what happened. And now we need to be sympathetic towards this and understand, like, this is a very rich historical community that's been through some of the worst atrocities ever in life, and have struggled and made stuff happen to get to a point.
Multiple times, like not even just once.
Dude,
they've been enslaved multiple times,
and then have worked their way into having their own communities and doing all this stuff. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, here we are again going, wait a minute, why are you guys attacking?
Yeah.
And it's a whole little community that's going on and fighting each other. They've been fighting each other for fucking forever.
Yeah, it's not,
but how it just turned into like this whole insane, I can't, it blows my mind, man. And to all my Jewish friends and family and everybody, I love you guys, and I'm sorry that you guys are going through this again, because the criticism is insane.
It is crazy. I have one of my younger cousins, he had a shirt that said, "I stand with Israel," and his folks, my older cousins, implored him to not wear that shirt. Just don't wear it right now. It's one thing being proud, but it's another thing entirely to willingly put yourself out there like that and put yourself in danger, subject yourself potentially in danger. Literally making yourself a target at that point. Man, it's crazy. Like like I said, I'm not a practicing Jew anymore. I do it. I do what I do with my kid on the holidays and this and that. And
Tradition.
We do. Passover was recently. We still had a Passover Seder. We got together with the family and did all that. But at the same time,
that's what I was talking about earlier. It's Passover.
Oh, Passover. So that's near Easter.
Yeah. Okay, but it's still the same. You sit around talk about family.
You definitely do a lot of that. But I kind of lost my train of thought. But it's a scary time. It's a scary time when a little kid can't even wear a shirt, to show his pride in who he is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like that speaks volumes. And it's gnarly. And whatever side you're on, I don't give a fuck. It doesn't mean you have to go out of your way to be complete fucking assholes to strangers that you don't even know on both sides.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing that drives me nuts, because as much as I understand,
Not liking Jews.
I just don't like
Here we
them.
go.
I
Here
just
we go.
don't like them, dude. I don't like the way they work. I don't like, but
I don't like that they own my business.
I don't like that they own the banking industry. I don't like all these things.
I would like to have a gold ring. Just
the
one
trippy
gold
part
ring on my
is
finger. Give me the discount.
As much as and the Israel Palestine shit that's going on, like, and I'd love to hear like kind of your take on it. You're not a political analyst. You're a fucking.
I don't really have a take on it. So, I mean, I do have a take, but it does. It's very simple and weak, in my opinion.
Well, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like I said, you're not a representative of all
simple
fucking
and weak,
things, right? Yeah.
In a nutshell, I mean, I can tell you right now. In a nutshell, I'm like, well, if you want to speak in terms of like, politics and military and all that type of stuff.
Right.
So if it was put to me, somebody put it to me like this, and it helped my perspective on it. And I'm trying to remember the exact way it went, but it was like, if Hamas attacked the United States, would Israel come and help us?
Fuck
No.
No?
Absolutely not.
If Israel attacked the United States, would Hamas come and help us?
No.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Right.
So you guys both shut both of those down really quickly, but the way it was kind of explained to me was if because of the and again, I'm no political analyst.
Right.
I barely keep up with this shit.
100%.
Okay?
I like your direction. Keep going. I like what you're saying.
But what was the way it was put to me was because of the relationship we have with Israel, that being a good one over all the years that we've, been dealing with them. If, let's say hypothetically, Hamas was to start some shit in the States, that there is a good chance that Israel might help us. That they might come around and they might help us just the way that we've done with them,
The argument for me is that we financially and metaphorically support every fucking country on planet Earth that loves us, right? So the hard reality is that America doesn't need help fucking another country up. We went into Iraq after 9/11 and fucked that place up.
That's a good point. That's a really, really good point.
I mean?
Like, yeah.
We don't need fucking help.
Oh,
right?
yeah. No,
we're
for
the
sure.
world police, right?
We are good at that.
We're fucking, that is, if you can say anything about America, we are good at fucking your country up, right? Now, we support every country that, supports us.
Right.
Israel, the relationship, we help build the Iron fucking Curtain, all that shit. You know what I mean? But for me, it is... the response to the Hamas attack is a little fucking wild, dude. You know what I mean? And it's getting to the point where even everyone is like, this is enough.
Yeah, it's wild. They just today bombed another like encampment that they're like, well, we got this Hamas leader, but they murdered
I don't know,
a bunch of children
10,000
and
kids,
families,
right?
like, and
so
this
it's
happened
like you
today.
can't comment on like
Yeah.
war, right? It is what it is. For what they did on October 7th was fucking horrendous.
Right.
And Hamas's stance is and will always be death to Jews.
Yeah.
Right? And that's like, you can't argue with that. You can't negotiate with that. You can't do any of that shit.
You're right.
Right? But the response, because Israel has the fucking firepower, is to blanket destroy fucking everything. Now, it's really easy to sit back as a fucking fourth quarter quarterback and be like, this is fucked up.
Right.
But if also some motherfucker attacked my fucking country, just like when the 9/11 happened, we were like, fuck everyone. Yeah. And look, it doesn't have anything to do with...
That's true.
Actually,
That's true.
There was just a report,
everyone was on the chopping block then.
A report came out just today that finally admitted that Saudi Arabia had a major part to do with 9/11. We went in and destroyed Iraq. We fucked that place up, right?
But
they just finally admitted, like today, maybe yesterday, that Saudi Arabia was a huge portion of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like yo, dude.
And how much money do we give to them?
At all fucking country up.
Right, no, yeah, you're right about that.
But here's my fucking major problem. Religion is ruining the world. Your religious fucking, Hamas, your Muslims, religion itself is the cause of all war in the last, I don't know, 150, 200, 300, let's say fucking 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Religion is
since
the
there's
ruin
been people,
of all
since there's
fucking wars.
been fucking people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean-
the belief of one thing to another and the dividing line between those, and I'm so goddamn tired of it. You know what I mean? Like, religion itself, like, for me, the Jewish religion is beautiful because it's the only religion you can ask fucking hard questions, and they will go, we don't have an answer for that. We're going to fucking try to logically decide. Like, because when I was a Christian, you know, I was, like, heavily involved in Christianity. Every answer eventually ended with, well, you just have to have faith. Where, like, with
No,
with, like,
for sure.
yeah,
You
with, like,
believe. You just believe.
You just have to believe at some point. But what I've experienced with, like, my Jewish friends and the people that I've talked to, like, scholars, is like they will admit that there is a fault, and they'll admit that there's things that they can't explain and all these things, and they will logically. You can have that conversation without just being like, you just have to have faith, right?
Yeah.
So for me, religion is the fucking fault of all mankind right now. It's the reason of every war. It's the reason of every, you know.
It's not just
Muslims fighting Jews, whether it's Muslims fighting Americans, Christianity, whatever it is. And it's at a certain point, it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, besides the blanketing of, like, bombing and killing of innocent people, it's all, every fucking war is based on religious shit, except for apparently Russia and Ukraine. They're just going for it. They're just like, now we're taking this motherfucker.
Yeah, we don't even have a reason anymore. We just
like Russia, Ukraine is keeping it classic. Like, we just want your fucking land, like Mongol shit. You know what I mean? Like, and that's like, I'm not for it, but I respect it. At least there's like no religious like backbone to it. You know what I mean? But
that's interesting.
Me,
I never thought about that until you just said it right now.
Yeah,
that's 100% accurate. There is literally no religious aspect to that
not
at all.
We used to own you. We want to own you again.
Yeah.
That seems very like that's black and white, like cut and dry to me.
That was kind of like, doesn't that kind of go back to 91 when Iraq, because wasn't Kuwait originally part of Iraq, and then wasn't that the whole thing behind Desert Storm?
Probably,
and Kuwait separated from Iraq, and Iraq was like, come on back here, no. And so then we went in, and like it was kind of the same.
Not today, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Russia said a long time ago, this is where my red line is. This is my line in the sand. Is no NATO within this proximity, including Ukraine. No NATO. We're not doing this. It's been known. It wasn't a big, like, everybody knew that this is the line in the sand, and our wonderful president went, yeah, fuck you guys.
Well,
but it goes back whoever
presidents.
It's also recently with Biden, and there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, well, you guys said no, but we're still going to do it. Whatever, we don't care, and that's what carried on and got shit started and really going in Ukraine. They've tried. Russia's tried. Everybody's tried to stop this from happening. The United States is the one that's just like, it's a lot of fertile ground. Right. It's a good farming community out there that we need.
There's a lot of farms,
and it has nothing to do with. Anyways,
like
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we want to, like, Ukraine is one of the largest, like, wheat and farming,
one of the richest agricultural communities
on planet fucking Earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Right. And all of a sudden, these. We're not a conspiracy podcast, but it's Blackwater. And I know, because I don't. But it's like there's just these fucking major companies that are running shit, and they're doing what they want to do. And this is another case where that's what's going on.
Yeah,
it's
just weird with
those fucking no bid contracts.
When it comes to a religious war, which is inherently what it is, right? Everyone's fighting over that spot.
Yeah,
right. They want. Like, the Muslims consider it a holy land, the Jews consider it a holy land.
Yeah.
Right? Like, to even call yourself a Zionist, which at this point in time is a fucking, like, a bad word, right? Like, they assume Zionist means...
like the worst of words.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but all absolutely. It means really is that you, like, Jews should have a spot in this fucking planet, right? Like, it's not that fucking bad when you break it down, But the war of religion is I don't know how we get past that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think
we ever do. I don't think we ever do.
It really doesn't seem like it.
I mean,
we never have.
If you never have, fighting over, in that area has been going on since there's been people in that area.
100%.
Is it gonna end at this point? Do we see anything in sight of like indicating that there's gonna be any end to this? No, there's never been, and it's been thousands of years. Or if you follow that calendar, it's been thousands of years, and it still hasn't stopped.
Right.
So.
Yeah,
simple math, really.
It's the war of religion. You know
yeah,
what I mean, and it's like that is a bummer because that isn't. As soon as you talk to I talk to people all the time that I love to death, that are on the. And I'm a general leftist on 99% of things. I want people to succeed. I want to do all these things, but then when you challenge somebody on their belief, that is when it is a zero sum game. You're never going to convince someone their belief is wrong, right? Whether it's Trump president or Biden president or fucking whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
The power of belief is the thing that is the defining factor, and it will never, will never fucking change. It's like a total bummer because
here's my dividing, my toe in the line. The one thing that about all of this that I have a problem with is I have you and I have other family that are Jewish, and I love them so much that you're not going to throw your fucking rag in my face and go like, fuck the Jews. This ain't going to happen.
Right.
I'm not, and I'm going to defend you until I die.
And I know,
and that's
you've got a rare, your level of loyalty is rare.
Oh.
You do that.
I'm so fucking mad. I'm seriously, dude. I started saying that shit. I got so mad. My hands all tightened up. I got all stressed out.
Relax.
Nah, I know. You know what I mean.
Saying, I do know. You're cut from a different cloth than a lot of other people are in this world. So that's why I feel like I've always connected with you on that level because you just are. You're a different kind of individual. So.
It
that
blows
level
my
of
mind.
loyalty is just not something you find.
But
every day anymore.
The people that are preaching all this Palestine stuff, I don't think they really realize. I think they're caught up in this higher education woke fucking agenda that's just running this whole program, and they don't realize how hurtful and offensive and fucking how messed up it is that you're attacking a culture that has been minimalized and attacked and drugged down for fucking years and years and years and years, and all they're trying to do is be like, hey, look, in saying all this, I don't necessarily agree with the government right there and what they're doing, but it's the people and the cultures and the backlash is coming from people that don't really, it doesn't seem like they understand what they're really actually getting into and saying. You know what I mean?
Don't.
Because
when
if they broke it down, if you're
to the sea, they don't even know what river or what sea they're talking about.
Right. You know what I mean? Well, do you realize that what you're preaching is against what our forefathers, our grandfathers, our great-grandfathers in World War II, what they did and stood for, and what against, as far as no, we're not doing this. You can't just fucking wipe out a whole culture because you think that blonde-haired and blue-eyed is the way to be.
Right.
And so,
which it is, but
he's right. But you know what I'm saying? And then to see these people in these colleges that are supposed to be higher education, higher level learning, supposed to be understanding, and they are just full throttle, foot on the gas, going and talking shit. And
we talking about it a lot. You only I think you we're close to the same age, right? You're
I don't
late
think
40s
so.
or something.
Are you closer?
I'm 41.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just turned 52.
Okay, so you guys are close to the same age.
Yeah.
But I might be the last generation
you.
that was taught how horrendous World War II was.
Sorry.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's rude. I might be the last generation that was taught like how horrendous World War II was.
I'm making sure my kid. I'm making sure my kid knows it.
Yeah, 100%.
Matter of fact,
and even my kid right now is like, she's doing a report on Mao right now.
Oh,
Ooh.
Wow!
And she's actually doing, and that, you want to talk about some fucking, dude, you want to talk about like Hitler did some shit, but holy fuck, hold my beer when Mao comes into it, right? And my daughter's doing something really creative. She's doing an actual tattoo. Because my daughter's like really into, she wants to be a tattooer. She's doing a tattoo that represents like the rabbit and the fox of Chinese fucking blah blah blah. The rabbit's holding the red book, right? Which, like, when you think about it, like how Mao came to power was through colleges, was through the communist like dictatorship that he murdered 50 million, fucking 60 million people, was generated by college students and young people, right? Like they talk about the most effective Nazis back in World War II were children from like 6 to 12, because children don't see black and white. They believe wholeheartedly in things.
Oh, you
right?
know
And that's
what?
how Mao came to power, was through the college, like through colleges.
that makes perfect sense. Did you guys check out any? I mean, small side, trek here, but the recent additions to Netflix of World War II in color and all that. They have a couple of new ones that are out, and there's a scene that shows up in both of them. I watched them both. I watch all the World War II stuff, and there's a same scene that shows up in both of them where they're in Africa, and the Africans.
Here's another problem.
They hated the British and the Americans, especially when the British went over to help them. They just couldn't stand it. But the Germans were driving through the streets in their tanks and their transports and all this stuff, and they're waving, and these like little black kids are out on the streets like doing this number to them.
100%.
We're like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Stop that. Bad child.
Yeah,
but they just exactly like you said, like within that age range, like first of all, what kid's going to question it? Second of all, well, that's it. Who's going to question it? You're being taught a certain thing by all the people that you look up to around you, and that's all you know. So
right. Yeah, like my daughter right now is doing a whole entire history presentation on a woman that was a college professor that was going against the students, which Mao was like infesting the colleges, like all young people with this communist like belief.
Yeah.
Right? And she wouldn't go along with it. So they fucking stood on her face with a plank of wood until her face was like crushed.
Holy shit.
Right. And so Scout's like creating a tattoo on fake skin, like with that as a representation of like what the fuck's going on. Right. So it's like what you were saying, like with what you're teaching your daughter and what I'm trying to instill in my kids is like the nuance of how horrendous belief can be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The power of belief.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like can shape a whole entire world.
Sure. Well, and it kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier about the people that jump on board
Right.
with no real direction.
Yeah.
Of
Those
all the bandwagoners that are just like, oh, well, all these people are going over here. Might as well fucking jump on with them.
Yeah, there's like a million
and
videos
if you don't
right
think
now.
that there's people out there that know exactly what they're doing and starting this stuff, there's agitators out there that are like, oh, if we do this, we'll be able to create this environment and we'll make this stuff happen. 100% that's what's going on.
Yeah. Where you going, buddy?
I have to pee so bad.
Oh, okay.
I'll be right back.
He'll filter this out. Yeah. Now he's gone. Yeah, he's gay. 100%. Yeah. No, it's just crazy how like it's like when you go back in the days when Cheech and Chong were running around on college campuses, it was a whole thing of like we're a counterculture and we're trying to like see past what our government's doing and we're going to make this comedy that's going to talk all this stuff that's actually apropos to the moment and the time. And now that's all like that was a whole like the anti-woke.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like this is what we're doing and we're doing it because we're anti-establishment.
Well,
we're not
but you got to
trying
consider
to,
at that time was such a different time too.
but
So much easier.
But that's higher education. That's people that
sure,
should be going into colleges, going like, "Hey, man, I don't necessarily agree with this stuff. Let's figure it out and work together and try to like we want to see everybody's opinion and then gather that together and then let's figure it out from there."
Right.
And now it's not that at all. It's
Right.
like, well, wait a minute. I'm in college, so I'm smarter than you.
Well, it's
you know,
like-
my mom and dad paid for me to get to this point in college to where I could get to here. And now that I'm here and I got all of these teachers and all these people around me that are just throwing the same vibe and culture and talk,
Right.
the same speak, like we're gonna, you know what I mean? Like college has gotten so woke and like just taken over by an ideology. Thank you very much. It's been overran with this ideology that this is what we think is right, therefore it's right. You know what I mean? That it just is
100%.
completely taken away from the like, let's have an open conversation and let's talk about this stuff. That's what it just blows my mind, man.
Oh, absolutely. Look how many people just, again, I hate to keep using the word bandwagoneer, but like, or bandwagon or whatever,
keep
it is.
using
but
it,
it's
dude,
like,
'cause
that's exactly what it is,
man.
It applies to everything. It's like people are so quick to jump on. Something popped up on Facebook a couple months ago, and it was something that somebody posted. I don't remember what it was, but let's say it was the reason that Nova Scotia beavers can get AIDS if they eat the sticks from a certain tree outside to the west bank of this one river.
Yeah.
Let's just call it that. And then everybody jumped. There was no article to support it. There was nothing like that. But then, like, there was all these people jumping on board saying all these different things, but nobody had any real argument to substantiate what they were trying to say. Everybody was just jumping on board and almost repeating the same shit that everybody said before them. There was no substance there. Or there was nothing of any kind of smarts. Like, it was just the same fucking thing over and over. And that's just how that kind of stuff goes.
It's one of the things that I'm going through right now is I'm a big fucking supporter of Robert Kennedy. We've said this a bunch. I'm a big fan of RFK. And then I talk to people that I respect and love. I respect their intellect. I respect who they are, really, truly. And then I'll be like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And they fucking shut down and they're just like, nah, fuck that guy. I'm like, wait a minute. So fuck that guy. What's the alternative then? If it's fuck that guy, what's the alternative? What's next? If you guys are like he's talking about doing all this different stuff, that everything that we all want,
right?
He's saying he wants to do. So okay, fine. So what is your alternative? What do you guys think is? And it's amazing how they just go.
Well, it's like most people are wildly uninformed.
And that's
which is crazy. They have a two-stance policy at most, right? They hear someone say something about abortion they don't agree with, and they're like, well, I don't like that fucking guy.
Right.
And also the fear of, Trump or Biden in office, however you feel about it, right, is palpable, right?
Oh,
It's like people that fucking hate Trump would rather anything but Trump, and people that hate Biden would rather anything but Biden.
What's funny about that is how many of those same people have like come together. Somehow, you know what I mean? The Biden people, the people that were pro Biden, are all out there talking shit about how he was sleeping at Memorial Day. You know, all those same people that were Biden supporters are talking shit about that guy making memes right now.
Yeah, I have never, ever have I even kind of went towards the right. I've been left. I'm a Democrat. Have been a Democrat. All about it. I've just completely 100%. And in the last probably 7 months, I've been like,
right,
we have to figure something else out because it is fucking crazy, bro. It is crazy.
Like, exact same.
And I have a conflict within myself because I'm like I don't want to, I'm trying not to, but at this point in time, when you look at what they're doing and what they're doing with Ukraine, what they're doing with Israel and Palestine, what they're doing with everything, you're like, wait a minute, you're not better. You guys have been running this whole program of like we're the better people. We're trying to be more righteous. We're trying to do what's right for people, and they just keep stringing this shit out. And now you're like, whoa, you're liars. You guys are all bullshit. You guys are, what you're saying is not what you're doing. You guys are saying, and we went for it for years, but at this point in time, you're just like, wow,
and
come
there's that
on,
conflict,
man.
that conflict that I didn't mean to cut you off, but that conflict that you spoke of
trying to,
because, like, dude, we've been indoctrinated.
Yeah.
Indoctrinated.
But like, or well, at least by our parents and the people around us that we grow, and our family and friends and all these people, and eventually we grow up and we develop opinions of our own. Mm-hmm. But it's gone. It's gone. I didn't smoke any weed before I got in here. I promise I didn't. But sometimes that shit right there, I think I told you guys last time I did this.
Yeah.
That shit happens sometimes.
We know you, bro. We know you. We got you.
Here's the thing. Like, for me, I have always been a third-party candidate.
Oh, the conflict.
I refuse. Yeah,
that was
the conflict.
The conflict.
Finish it.
Yeah,
If
sorry.
You got it. Finish it. Yeah.
It's just the fact that, like, I was always the same as Jason. Like, to the core. To the 100%, core. Man. And I find myself questioning a lot of things lately. Like, a lot of things with...
Right.
I'm not even going to get into the list right now, because that's a whole nother podcast probably. But, I mean...
We got plenty of time.
I just, like... a lot of it, the woke, like... I get it. Being woke is cool. I guess I was trying to.
Here's what drives. This is what my biggest issue with this stuff is we are all aboard, all of us.
Right.
We're all like, yeah, okay. We want you guys to, like, we want everybody to be, like, we're not bullies. We want people to be included.
Yeah.
We want everybody to feel comfortable. We want but you guys have switched this to where you're now the bullies.
It's almost
you guys are the fucking bullies.
That's exactly it.
So now I can't respect you no more. When I come to try to have a conversation with you, and you just fucking like giving me a little flippant, like, oh, fuck you, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not as smart as I am. You know what I mean?
Because I used the wrong word in reference to something. Like,
and I use
sorry,
all the wrong words.
Yeah,
I use every one of the wrong words. Just call me the
guilty.
Pope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just, I'm an 80-year-old man that every once in a while throws out a strong F word.
Yeah.
Dude,
like, that's exactly.
And we're not there, but we still want to be empathetic and understanding of the people around us and their plight. But you're creating an environment where we are no longer like sympathetic for you because you're completely turning into the person that you were.
Become what you've hated.
Yeah, dude.
You become what you hated.
Yeah.
And it's so, like, my whole thing is, okay, cool, be woke, whatever. I'm at the point now where I'm like, can we stop being woke yet? Like, I don't know. I'm just gonna say it.
Generally over, dude.
Okay,
it's there.
Am I the only one? Like, I can't be the only one.
There's a hard argument for podcasters keeping woke alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they talk about it.
Just
you
for
hear
the
Joe
subject
Rogan
matter.
talk about it constantly. When I meet my kids, my daughter says she's gay. My boy is fucking who knows, right? All these things. They have very little, like, boundaries as far as it goes, right? Like, I've never been called gay more in my life,
right?
By my own children who say they're gay, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe them, but I'm just saying, my
They're
daughter's
working
like,
their program and
I'm
having
gay.
fun.
I'm like, eat some pussy and then talk to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, well, fucking, let's see what's going on here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck, maybe she has, I don't know, whatever it is. None of that matters, right? But, like, here's the unique, like, realm that we're in. We grew up in the punk rock world. We grew up in the acceptance of all fucking things. Like, a guy in a fucking dress didn't fuck your day up, right?
Give two shits.
Like, didn't give two shits. Are you a good human?
Not ever.
That's cool. Dude. You know what I mean? Like, come here, dude, hang with us.
No,
fuck, right?
Like, and if somebody did give a shit and they started acting like an asshole, shut the fuck up, dog.
Get over yourself. Get the fuck over yourself.
Get the fuck out of here,
right?
bro.
So, like, a lot of that is gone it's getting to the point now where, like, with my own children, I don't know how Sadie's experience has been, but that shit is around, right? It's the pronouns, the whole thing. Like, my boy will tell me about a friend that he's hanging out with is a he pronoun. It's obviously a chick, and I'm like, I have a hard time with it, and I just tell him, like, I'm not gonna get this right, dude. Like, I'm not gonna get it right. I also am a dad. I need facts. Right. I need actual facts. If I have a kid at my house that has a fucking heart attack or something happens, I need to be able to call the police and be like, there's a
13-year-old male here.
At the house.
Right.
Like, whatever.
I get,
I'm accepting of all things. I don't give a fuck. But, like, I think that a lot of that shit is almost the new version of punk rock is what I've been thinking about a lot lately, right? Because it does piss your parents off. It's as like accepting as we are.
That's a funny way to
accepting as we are. They found a way to piss us off, and it's by a fucking pronoun or a whatever the fuck it is. Because we're like, look, we have like I'm constantly explaining like I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I don't care if you're a cat or a whatever the fuck. Holy fuck, man, I need some actual facts here.
Yeah.
And I think like a lot of that woke shit is the new punk rock. And now my kids are, they're over it. They're like, even my daughter's like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Like, there's a lot of fucking things here. You know what I mean? Like,
I'll never forget.
And they're going to get over it. And I don't play into it. That's the thing with me is I'm like, look, I understand what you're doing. I understand how you feel about things. Mm-hmm. You're lost. You're fucking 13 to 17, 10 to 17.
Those years are gnarly.
It's a fucking nightmare, dude.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't play into it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You put so much more thought into it than I ever did.
100%.
I remember Courtney at one point was like, "Hey, Dad, I got a girlfriend. I like girls." I went, "All right."
And just moved on from there.
It. I didn't care. And whatever. And honestly, it was like, whatever you want to do.
It's fine.
And if later on it happens that this is real,
right,
then I don't care.
They're cool too.
You're my kid.
But your daughter was into that before this whole entire no.
So literally, I'm telling you
about
she
it.
literally one day was like, she had a little girlfriend she was hanging out with, and she's like, "Hey, Dad, I'm into girls." I went, "Okay,
tight,
like sweet. I don't have to worry about being a grandpa.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not worried about it. Okay, whatever you want, whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? And literally was like, I love you. Cool.
Yeah. 100%.
Don't care at all. I don't give a fuck. And if it changes later on, it changes later on. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I really honestly don't care.
So I'm the same. I totally get that.
Didn't have the whole
thing.
Like you have to go through and you had to go through like I didn't go through this with like a whole social media that's like, oh, you need to be proud that your daughter is now... No, I don't need to do that. I need to let her figure this shit out. And I don't need you guys telling her or anybody else around me that this is what you guys need to do. No, leave us alone.
Right.
She's saying something, cool. But figure it out. Because if that's what happens... That's what happens.
It's how it's going to go.
Is it really going to happen that way? Or at some point in time, are you going to then be like, I've got 6 girlfriends, but I still identify as a he, but I really don't want to go hang around with you and me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you, like, you say this, but do you really want to go hang out with 3 dudes that are like dudes?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
for
do
sure.
you really want to come and hang out with 3 guys that are going to sit there and fucking seriously just fart joke, talk about whatever shitty thing you can find to each other? You know, let me figure out your nose is big and your ears are long. I'm going to talk shit about it. You know what I mean? And
that's rude. That's rude. That's rude. But,
you know, it's real. You know,
it's a fine line between rude and real.
I haven't figured it out at all. So I'm part of the problem. Yeah. But it's just that whole, like, let it figure it out, but don't, like, stop letting it's so ego driven. Because you're right, I'm right, you're right, you're right. Mm. Like, just let it go. Let them figure it out.
They will.
Because if not, you're just going to create something that isn't necessarily true.
Right.
You know? And I think we're seeing that with the trans movement a lot.
I had, for me, it was, my big issue was I was trying to I went through, like, it was almost might have been about almost a year-long period that I was just trying to figure out and understand the pronoun thing, right?
Oh,
I didn't know where it came from. I didn't understand it. It didn't make sense to me. And of course, I'm a supporter. My sister's gay. I'm all about, like, I'm
100%.
full on, like, absolutely. You
Dude,
do whatever you
I would
want.
much
I don't
rather
care.
have my
Sexually,
sister was
like,
gay.
enjoy.
My sister was attracted to black men. Do you know what that's like? Dude, that's rough.
Yeah.
I wish my sister was gay.
I remember asking one of my clients one time. I'm not going to get into all their names, but you know all the tattooed lesbians in Ventura, right?
Oh,
yeah.
So so I would tattooed a lot of those girls. A lot of them were my clients for years, and some of them still are. You know, and I remember asking one in particular one day, and this was this was probably about 5 or even 6 years ago now. No, I was still up the street. So yeah, probably 6 years back. And I finally decided to ask her, like, just explain it to me. I never asked my sister. I never bothered, but I'm like, explain it to me. Make this make sense to me so I know what's happening here. And they just told me that it was put to me like this. If you don't understand it, then it's not for you. So what I did was I took that and I went, cool. It's got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And from
100%.
there, I decided to just not worry about it anymore.
Shalom.
Okay. So, and just not concern myself with it. And that's how I've been ever since. And on the rare occasion that somebody actually, like, I find out that they want to definitely be referred to as they or something. I just refer to. I use that. What my thing is, I use their name every time. So let's say Jason, you told me that.
What's your fucking name?
I'm like, oh, well, your name is Jason. Okay, so now I'm going to refer to you every time that there's going to be a pronoun there. I'm not going to use pronouns with you. I'm going to use your name.
Yeah,
and it's going to get annoying as fuck. And I'm sorry, but that's just the way I'm going to do it because this is not for me, and I don't need to worry about it. And I'm not trying to be an insensitive fucking asshole about it, but it's just the way it is. I don't
like it.
get it.
I like it.
So this is how I deal with it. I support you.
Do whatever you want.
You know,
I like it.
Well, that's the thing that
like it a lot.
I had to explain to my kids. I was like, if you really think about all this shit, the pronouns, the blah blah blah, they want to control how you talk about them when they're not there, right? It's inherently fucking narcissistic.
right?
Most of it,
for sure.
right? And my kids' friends and all these things, I'm like, what's your name? I'm going to call you your name. Even your surname, whatever the fuck you want to be called.
Right.
Your name's August, whatever the fuck you're calling it. I'm going to call you that name. That's fine. But I am not going to refer to you later as they or something because they want to control how you refer to them as in a later tense, right?
Right.
So that's like where I'm like, that's a hard line for me. I'm not doing that. You know, I'm not participating in the thing that, assuming that I'm going to talk about you later, like, and refer to you as they, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to call you your name.
Yeah.
But it should be fucking fine.
Oh, I just remembered you guys were having your shots. I got a shot too.
There you go. What do you got?
This weed.
There you go.
Oh, shit. Okay, cool.
Yeah, get it.
That scares me.
Cheers.
Hell yeah, dude.
So, a lot of that for me is like whatever you want to do, I don't care. If you want whatever pronoun you
100%.
want, but it also goes along with like you have these parents that have now we're like probably like 2 generations into like a good solid first generation, like just timeline. And I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but like we had the helicopter parents telling all these kids. Like,
Oh my God! Don't go outside or you're gonna die.
Or like you
Night Stalker will get you.
whatever. You're the best person, and you don't have to listen to adults. You don't have to listen to these people tell you how to do this stuff. You know what you're doing. You're smart. You're beautiful. You're great. You're the best. You don't have to worry about all these other people. And now all these people around us are like, why can't I get a good burrito? Why can't I go someplace and get a consistent meal? Or why can't I go and get somebody to come work on my house for a reasonable price? Or whatever. It's because you've just taught your kids that they don't have to work because they don't have to like try to be better. They don't have to try to work to strive to get into something. They've already been told like you don't have to do all that.
Yeah.
You know, so now we're dealing with that stuff on a level that's
a really interesting
crazy,
point.
man.
Yeah.
And then we're dealing with these kids that are like, yeah, I'm
We're going to have a whole
22.
generation
I
of
don't
kids
know
that don't know how to do shit.
Don't have
Fuck all.
no
Nothing.
idea.
Right.
No idea, man. You know, and they don't even want to listen. When you like oh boy. Yeah.
Old man
Yeah.
alert, dude.
Well,
Get in
no,
there.
it's not just an old man
Come on,
alert.
boomer.
It's guys I work with that I fucking love to death, and they're good fucking dudes, man. I mean, I really enjoy the crew of people I work with. But when I try to talk to them about something, I'm like, hey, man, you know, maybe you should try this instead of doing this. And then you guys both know I'm an asshole. So I
No
do
arguments
that for,
here?
I do that for about
Not
2
even
seconds.
not even a fucking.
I know that. I know who I am. And I do that for about a second and a half. And the second that they even kind of fucking any type of hey, look, man, you should try this. I did that and I immediately just go, peace out, homie.
Yep,
yeah, and when I say the peace out, my peace out is the English version. Fuck you. You know what I mean? And I literally would just go, all right, I'm done. I'm not doing it because why? We can't go, you know, like your dad. You know, your dad, I don't care.
Yeah, my
your
old
dad
man's a hard fucking
and the
line to
people
run.
that I grew up with,
Holy
but
fuck.
they fucking, that's why you're the way you are.
Holy shit,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? And it's not the best necessarily, and I get that, but they also made you go like, I have to now understand I did something wrong. That guy just ripped me a fucking new one, and my mommy's not going to hold my hand.
Yeah.
And that's what you're getting nowadays is when you try to, like, they're working and they're doing something, you're like, hey, man, slow down, figure this out. This is what we should do. And then just, like, let's, you know, but the whole time they're like, no, we need to do this with it. Like, no, man. You know, but when we were growing up, it was like, hey, shut the fuck up, dumbass. This is not a fucking democracy.
Right.
You fucking work for me. You go over there.
This is how
you
it's done.
grab that shovel and you dig that hole. If you don't want to fucking do it, I don't pay you. Leave.
Right.
That's it.
Well, I think that's the fault of parents these days. And I think a lot of it
100%.
Going back to woke culture, though.
I think parents have a lot to do with
Everything. I
Yeah.
agree.
You know,
They have everything to do
we
with
are
it.
all a generation of kids that grew up with either latchkey, whatever the fuck you want to call
100%.
it, right? A generation of parents that
Yeah, we were the last
basically,
latchkey.
like,
we were the last.
Oh,
basically
you guys were.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I
well-
was
Yeah.
for sure. You know
I
what
preceded
Like,
you
me
guys.
for sure. It was like
Yeah.
my mom was like,
You guys were
"Figure
terrified
it
of
the
my generation.
fuck out, right?
You know you were. Am I wrong?
What?
You guys were terrified of my generation.
No.
Because you guys were at the back end of latchkey. We were the latchkey.
Right.
And you guys were definitely terrified of us.
But I
because
also-
you guys
I-
knew that if you whatever, we might just beat you up for nothing. You know?
I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of
and then
that.
if you showed up that you were cool, then we're like, okay, you can come hang out with this kid.
At that young age, I
Right.
was just scared you guys were going to offer me a marijuana cigarette, and I'd have to say no.
Fuck
Yeah.
you. I offered
Yeah.
you a marijuana
Yeah.
cigarette and you were so involved. You were so happy. Yeah. Immediately.
I think the
Let
fault.
me make you a
me
coffee.
at 12, me
Let
at
me-
52.
Hey,
you know,
brother,
like,
like,
it's a different animal.
Can I make you a double macchiato back here in Nickelby's? You know? Yeah.
Yeah, I do think a lot of the fault is on the parents for this shit.
I agree. 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Because
100%.
like as a kid that was raised, you know, I'm 41. I was probably the literal last generation
You
that
were
didn't
raised
grow
by
up
a
without the
gangster,
internet.
though.
I
Right.
didn't fucking, you know, it was not in my life.
Yeah.
I had to go out and figure shit out. And I also grew up in like a wild circumstance. You know what I mean? Like in a world that most kids have never seen. My dad was a gold miner. I fucking grew up in the desert. There's a million fucking reasons I'm a savage. But as a parent, like, I think you really want to not have your children struggle in the way that you did, right? You don't want them to fucking like want for nothing. You know,
Yep.
we're overcompensators. We overcompensate our children
For sure.
right? And like, and we want to make sure our children are safe and all these things. And in that, inherently, you're going to create pussies. And that's fucking what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, inherently,
really
I
good
can't,
point,
like,
too.
as much, I have two fucking boys.
Yeah.
And I just don't. For me, I have to step back and realize that like I was an absolute pussy. Like for most of my childhood, I was a mama's boy. All these things.
You're adult. Yeah.
Calm down, dude. Yeah, I was an absolute pussy for most of my childhood. I didn't have the gumption. I didn't have the things until I got in the industry that I got in, and it got beat into me. Yeah. Right. I think you're going to see a return to that because when AI comes in and eliminates jobs, and when like my daughter right now is like she's tactile art. She wants physical, tactile shit. Whether it's making a dress, it's fucking tattooing. You know, tactile. You know, tattooing is obviously an industry that will never fucking end. Right?
I mean, will it? Won't it? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you think it will.
It's a weird place right now, and not only that, but
it's going to be fucked up.
They're already using 3D printers to tattoo people. You know, that's a thing that exists.
It does
right
exist
now.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's also, you know, granted variables that a machine can't account for. Right. You know, at least not yet.
Right.
But at the same time, like that fear is, or I don't know if you call it a fear, but that reality is there. That reality is there.
And it's going to come into effect. But as parents, we have sheltered our children from all the things that we knew were dangerous in the world. Mm-hmm. And I think you're starting to see like a lot of my nieces and nephews are not on social media. And they're in their like 18 to 21s. It's not their main fucking focus.
Right.
They want to do things that actually mean something.
Agreed.
Sure. Right.
Yeah,
Which is like rad. Like it's an amazing way to be. I think you're going to see with all this new technology coming in and the ease it is to create something that is worth almost nothing. Right. Mm-hmm. Like whether it's art or whatever. Like today I was fucking around with ChatGPT-4. I downloaded it. I made a million podcast images. I did a bunch of like crazy shit just by like speaking.
It's so weird, dude. It literally was all
Macho Man
him
Randy
and I
Savage
having gay
explaining the
sex.
Ukraine war to
That's
me.
the whole everything he did.
Wait, I
with
missed
AI.
what you said.
Everything that he did with AI, everything he said, and he sent me a bunch of photos of it.
Yeah.
It's just him and I having gay sex. Literally everything is like Get Heavy podcast, and they're like me on top of him,
right?
And then like me on top of him, and then you move it a little bit to this side, it's me on top of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's wild, bro.
It's like
it's
like two male bears trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but they know who the top
that's the thing. Like with all this new technology, I'm seeing my daughter reject it. She doesn't want anything to do with it. She wants to do tactile shit.
Your daughter's
and when,
my hero.
Like, we had Chet Zar on. You know, like his argument for AI was that people will always. He's an incredible artist.
Oh God,
right?
he's so good.
Chet Zar is incredible,
dude.
But people are always.
I missed that. I didn't realize you guys had him on.
Oh man, what a beautiful human being! And thank you for listening to the podcast, you asshole.
Yeah. Piece of shit.
Yeah, I know. Fuck you. Fuck you.
No, I've never supported.
I just texted him the other day to tell you how good the Jamie Lee Parker episode was.
This is true. He did. It was very nice.
So eat a dick or three.
I'll back up.
So tactile art, people are regressing to handmade things, all these things, right?
Yeah.
Which I think reflects in our parenting. The fact that a lot of us are weirdo artists, musicians, whatever the fuck it is, creative people that, like, our children are starting to accept the fact that
makers of things.
We don't give a shit about what you are. It's what you put out. Right?
That's right. We are makers of things. What's your
value, right? Mm-hmm. And I think you're going to see a massive rejection of that technology and all this shit.
I'm on board with that already.
100%.
I don't fuck with any of
it. Sadie draws all fucking day.
She's the same as me. We're purists. And I hate to sound like a fucking elitist, but like I was late to the party for the iPads and Procreate and all those types of things. Like I was still drawing on paper with colored pencils to sketch all my designs like for years. And then I finally, one day it just kind of hit me. This might make my life a little more efficient, easier, and so I jumped on board and I've been doing it. But like I get it on that level.
Tool,
like it's a very valuable tool. But I was the same way with the cell phones. I didn't get a cell phone. People had cell phones in 2000, 2001. That granted they were like gnarly looking Nokias,
Oh yeah, the Razor, dude. Remember the Razor?
No, this was even before the Razors. Remember like the Nokia bricks?
Yeah.
And so I just didn't want to get it. I didn't need it. I didn't feel like I had any use for it at all. I was content with a landline. If you wanted to get a hold of me.
12.
No, this is fresh out of the joint.
Right.
Fresh out.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I was with Angie at the time, and she had a cell phone that I thought was cool.
You were late.
I just
You were
didn't
late on
find
the
any,
game.
No, it did. Regardless
I'm telling you,
you're right.
telling you from
you're right because
like,
they were
my
already.
perspective because I knew you. You know what I mean? Like we were there together.
Yeah.
Before and after, and with I knew Angie before you guys got together.
Right.
So like that whole thing, but like. I did the flip phone. I did the brick phone. I did all that shit
wanted nothing to do with it.
before I went to work at Nickleby's in '93.
See, and that you were way ahead of the curve. Then
yeah.
I was.
Thank you for selling crack. That's how I made the money to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Thank you, crack.
Yeah. Amen.
I just had no desire.
Oh,
I just had no desire when it comes to those types of things. I mean, like I said, I hate to sound like a fucking elitist, but that's just the way I am. I'm a purist when it comes to those types of things. And when it comes to AI, I'm an artist. I'm a real visceral. Let me draw this. Let me use my brain and create something. The fact that you could, somebody was showing me, one of my clients was showing me, she got on it and she's like, I want to see a dude with 3 legs and a beard growing out of his belly button with sitting on a donkey who is making out with a snail who blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And sure as shit.
It's pretty close. Yeah.
It like came up and I was like,
it is,
what
it does, but it doesn't have the same, you don't get the same texture. You don't get the same feeling. You don't get that like you can tell, because he's done it. I did it I've done it a couple of times. And you don't. It still doesn't. It's still cartoonish. It doesn't have the real feel.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
There was a guy that tried to pass off an Instagram page of tattoos that were all AI generated tattoos.
Oh shit!
Tattoos.
Yeah.
Like what?
Hey, so real because I'm going to lose this train of thought, and I want to stick with this for a second. But one of the things that I think's going on as far as the tattoo industry goes, and this is just something I thought of as we're sitting here talking, is like when I first started getting tattoos, it was a very limited amount of people that would really get tattooed. You know what I mean? Like nobody just walked up and got a fucking throat tattoo.
Right.
You didn't just walk out there and go get your hand tattooed. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was like a fucking, like if you got your hand tattooed, you're not getting a job. You had 2
sleeves, a back piece, probably had your neck already done. Yeah. Might have done a prison term or 2.
Out there, you did a little blue scorpion on some fucking gay guy I know. And and I understand it was a whole rainbow coalition thing for himself, Ethan Curran. So
not going to mention any names.
Yeah, I'm not gonna throw him on blast, dude. That'd be rude. But I think kind of what's going on is like it was an underground thing that was like, this is what we were doing and what we were going through at a certain point in time. Like it's underground and this is where we're at and we're getting this stuff, and we've all been through that underground shit. Mm-hmm. We've been through you don't get a tattoo at 10 a.m. you get a tattoo at 10 p.m. And when you walk into the shop, the fucking music is at fucking 30. You know what I mean? And it's just fucking blasting and everybody's like on a level and there's this whole thing going on, and then we sit down and we get this tattoo, and we're the fucking 8 people in this town that got tattooed.
God, and that era of tattooing is so long gone too.
Yeah. But so here's where my thing is like we went through this whole process of where now everybody just goes and gets whatever they want. They get their hand done, they get their neck done, they get their forehead done.
Brother, there's people that they start with their fucking faces now.
I know. But so my point is this is what I think could be part of what's affecting you. As I think that what's going to happen is everybody's going to go, oh, everybody's doing it now. I'm done.
Oh, why? You think it's gonna have like a reverse effect?
I don't think.
You're okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you gotta start and you already do. You have to be somebody that is relevant, and what you do as a rock star. Like I'm gonna do these badass fucking Disney pieces that everybody's gonna go, like, okay, I can go get this from anybody else, but I can only get this from you.
Some niche stuff.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm thinking,
That's
like,
what I'm
for
saying.
me,
It's like,
I'm just like, at
people
this
are
point,
gonna be hungry for tactile.
yeah,
At some point, they're going to get so sick of all the AI and all the
I'm tapped out. As far as like tattoos and like, I just don't like it. It's the whole process and the whole thing that goes along with that has lost its
100%. 100%. The allure of it, the whole scene that comes along with it, it's gone now. So like, I'm sure you guys have seen it. There's like all these memes floating around where it's like tattooing in the 80s, right? And then it's like tattooing now.
Right.
And it's the difference of, or like, what was the one with, what's that kid's name, that actor, Michael Cera? Michael Cera? There's something, I don't know why they picked him for this meme, but it's a viral meme from years ago. And it was, and it says something to the effect of, back in the day, getting your neck tattooed meant you were kind of a bad motherfucker. And
not kinda.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so today it means, hi, would you like to go for a ride with me on my vegan bicycle? You know, like,
yeah.
But like, that's accurate. That's accurate. There's there's nothing to be earned anymore. Like it was for me in my era, Jason's era too, and Craig, you were probably like at the tail end of it.
Dude, I graduated high school with a sleeve. 18.
See,
I had a full
exactly.
sleeve at 18
that's
in high
fucking
school.
rad, dude.
Yeah.
That was
And a
fucking
beard.
rad.
Yeah, I was the only kid in high school that had I had this tattoo at 18 years
That's
old.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm glad I know that.
He didn't know it, but even then, he was trying to be me.
Jesus Christ.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's real.
I see what you guys are saying. I mean, it's...
But yeah, like it was. I wouldn't. When I moved up to when I was working in Pismo,
Yeah.
I came in my first week at that shop. First week, and he had a long sleeve shirt on, and he had his neck, throat done all the way from the side panels all the way to the front of the throat, and he had both of his hands tattooed. And he said he wanted to get something on, and I wasn't doing the tattoo, but it was something he wanted. I think it was on his chest or maybe upper shoulder or something. And when he took his shirt off, excuse me, he had no tattoos other than what you saw. He looked like he was just tatted down, you know.
Yeah, 'cause
and
your neck is the last thing. Your hands are the last thing you got.
I remember when I did. What did I do? I wanted to do my hands, and I was with Angie at the time, and I called her, and I had already done one side of my, and I was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting my hand tattooed." Manuel had wanted to try out this new machine he got, and he's like, "Let's do one of your hands," and I was like, "Let me call." And I called home, and I was like, "I don't know, like I don't know if I want to commit to this yet. What do you think?" And she was like, "The way I see it, you already tattooed your neck, you might as well." And like, so the point being that it just occurred to me that, well, shit, I had 2 full sleeves, 2 full legs, my torso was almost complete, my back was almost completely done. I had part of my neck tattooed at that point. I had tattooed the better part of my entire body at that point. Why the fuck not?
Right.
Besides that, I'm a fucking tattooer.
Right.
Like, and then going back to the whole, like, trusting a bald barber or a skinny chef, you know? Like, hey, you know, although I know a couple tattooers with no tattoos and they're fairly talented.
Wild,
And a skinny chef is because he works his ass off.
You know, it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
There's anomalies in every group. You know?
100%.
My whole thing about it is I just think that the fad of tattoos and how everybody's into it, I think that's going to slowly break at some point. And I don't know if it's happening now, but I think at some point in time that the true artists are going to stick, and all of these other people are going to be like, wait, I can't just sit here and make fast money.
Right.
It's going to go away. Right. I think you're going to have to really put yourself out there. You're going to have to keep hashtagging and doing your shit and getting sponsored and doing all the work that you do. I think that that's going to be what is the staple. And I think that all these people that really don't want to work anyways are now just going to be, wait a minute, I can't just go out there and do this and I just get paid a lot of money for it.
You cannot fucking circumvent the process.
Right. Yeah, oh, dude, come on now.
Period. Like, you cannot.
Yeah.
And so, and anybody that thinks this is for anybody that's listening to this. Literally, if you think that fucking tattooing's easy, just because you can order a tattoo machine on fucking Amazon.
Right.
Go fuck yourself. That shit is not easy.
Yeah.
That shit is not easy at all. And yeah. You know, like it's not. It's just not. And
I just don't understand that the process goes through. You have somebody coming to you going like, hey, I have this piece that I want to do. And for them, it's very like, hopefully, although it's just so hard. But they have a part of their heart that they're giving you. And they're talking to you about this piece of their heart that they want you to do. And then you got to be, okay. And then this is what nobody fucking understands. Well, there's people that do now, but they don't understand that you then have to go home and draw it out and then go back and then make it fit, you know, to some giant slab.
First of all, you got to figure out how to draw it.
Fucking crazy.
Let's start right there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm an illustrator and I use my brain, but there's a million things I don't know how to draw. I have to figure it out, you know, whether it's through using reference photos or other tattoos that I've seen that have inspired me, or just really using my brain sometimes and trying to push through it and figure it out. I've done that a bunch of times too. And like eventually you're like, oh, well, okay, you know, and work it out.
But also making it mesh with the person's idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah,
it's a collaborative process.
It is. And every single one of the steps is just as it's symbiotic. You can't have one of those steps without the other and have it be a cohesive unit. Like you just can't. It's not going to work out like that. So I know. Like, I mean, speaking for me personally, I've been, you know, basically an artist my entire life.
Right.
In one way or another, I've dabbled in a lot of different things, but it wasn't until tattooing. I mean, I was always able to illustrate things.
Sure.
But it wasn't until tattooing that I really latched on to that one medium.
Right.
You know? Right. Where I was like, this is it for me. This is my last stop. I'm good. But what's crazy is now the industry, the way it's going, and some people would say, there's people in the industry that are like, no, it'll even out. It's going to come back. It always does, this and that. And then there's other people that are like, no, this is way different than anything we've ever experienced. There was a gnarly time back in like around 08, 09-ish that
when people got broke.
Everyone got broke. And nobody was getting tattoos for a while, and that was a scary time for tattooers, and especially me as a young tattooer at the time, you know. So I was just about to, you know, we were getting married and all this stuff, and like I needed work and money, and like I couldn't, you know. So at any rate, as it is now, I'm not gonna. For me, I just don't want to sit and wait.
Right.
I'll sit and wait for a while. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. I will sit and wait. Yeah. But it's when that reality of, fuck, this shit ain't changing hits, and it like clicks in my brain, I'm like, I got to figure something out. And that's what actually, you know, prompted the whole like going back to school thing, you know, and all that stuff. I'm also like, for me, I've decided to kind of shift into a different gear of tattooing now. I am not going to obviously be able to tattoo forever. So, but I'd like to stay active in the industry.
Right.
It's been my entire life, really my adult life, you know. I want to teach. I want to teach more. I've dabbled in this a little bit. I've done some seminars, but like I found that people were really into learning.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
because it's like with my daughter, she wants to be a tattooer. There is not a lot of information.
There's not.
You know, like depth of needle.
Right.
How to.
The reason is because a lot of that stuff is so
held tight.
Well, that too, but it's the variables of it.
Right.
The variables of it. There's no one set way to do all those things.
Right.
Everybody's different. And the other thing is what Jason just said. That kind of information, especially my generation of tattooers, was the last ones to work with coil machines, to get real apprenticeships from some real fucking assholes. You know, I was lucky. I had pretty cool mentors. You know, they fucked with me, but that's part of it. Hazing's you know what I mean? Yeah. Toughen up, buttercup. You know, like, what do you want to do? You're in a tattoo shop.
Trade you do.
Yeah.
That's
you
fucking
toughen your skin and suck it up and fucking move on.
Yeah.
If this is what you want, then go get it, you know? Well, I just, I feel like going into the more educational side of it would be a fun thing for me to do. I've done it. I enjoyed it
man.
a lot.
Yeah.
And I've done seminars, and I even recently have had a individual student that was coming once or twice a week, every week, to get lessons.
Yeah,
just
that's
one-on-one.
Yeah.
You know,
a differently named apprentice. So you had an apprentice, but you're not calling that. It's not
well,
a
no.
student.
Now we've since changed all that. He is now officially in an apprentice capacity.
But
It was
that's
inevitable.
cool, though,
And
because
so it for me, just honestly, I just can't imagine you like and all the stuff, and I've been with you through all of it. To hear you like all of your other stuff you've done, I've just been like, okay, sure, brother, whatever you want to do, it's awesome.
Yeah. You've
Whatever
always
way-
that's a
been
cool
there and
thing,
supported
But
me on
hold
that
hold
level.
But this is one of the first ones where I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. You know,
yeah.
Okay, that's
yeah,
cool to hear.
like being
Thank
a
you.
teacher and being able to talk to these people and talk to these kids and get them in the right direction. It makes way more sense than I'm going to go be a pastry chef.
Well, I
Yeah,
enjoyed that though.
Yeah.
I
You did?
really
How'd
did.
that work
Yeah.
out though?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
What am I
yeah.
doing
But-
now?
Yeah, I've
What am I
never,
doing
I've
now?
never
What's
not
that?
I was
once.
scared for you at that time.
Yeah. I wasn't scared at all. I was just like, okay, here he
Yeah.
goes. We'll be
But
back.
to,
and I still have never had a pastry from you, you fuck. Not
But
one.
like
Not
as
one.
a dude that was in like a trade, I built roads and freeways my whole career.
Right.
I'm a teacher now.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that a while
I'm a
back.
teacher
Yeah.
now, right? And it is a gratifying
Yes.
thing in its own right because,
Yes.
first of all, I'm putting my name on these motherfuckers,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're only as good as the last fucking day you've worked.
Absolutely.
And I want to see the problem with a lot of industries is that they act like their secrets are fucking sacred,
Ooh, yeah.
right? They're not.
Tattooing
the
is
cream
one
of the
of those
crop is going to rise
industries.
anyway.
Right.
The guys that are dedicated, the guys that put in the
They're
work,
gonna
will
figure it
fucking
out.
rise. There's nothing wrong. There's room for everyone.
Yeah,
there's
I
room
get
for
that.
everyone in almost every
there's
trade.
Still,
Yeah.
I get that.
You need to get those lessons.
Yeah,
you need
100%,
somebody
yes.
standing up
Yeah.
there giving you them fucking
Yeah.
lessons. And
Yeah.
I think that with the apprenticeship program, with being a tattoo artist, or the apprenticeship program of being a fucking operator.
Right.
You need that, and you need to
need
be
it.
told,
Yeah.
like, hey, man, no, you need to put the work in. You can't
Yeah.
just
Right.
think that you can throw something together and not know the
100%.
geometry
Yeah.
of your arm,
Yeah.
or not know, like, this is what you're grading and
what
this is
you're
what
doing,
you
yeah.
need to do.
I mean, I got
and
guys
then,
that-
and then
yeah.
have somebody be able to go, come on, man, shut the fuck up and listen for a second.
Right.
I'm telling you, you know what? Go over there and fucking
Figure it out.
Well, for me, what I know is, and I know this doesn't exist anymore, but it's like, go make needles.
Right. Right.
Go
Right.
clean. Go
Yeah.
clean the autoclave.
Right.
Go make needles.
Go find the flux. Oh, you don't know what flux is?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like, come on.
Yeah. So I don't know what the equivalent that is to now, but it's the same thing with you. Like you
But
are,
the
you
sharing
still
of
have
knowledge,
to be.
but the sharing of
listen to you
knowledge is the
talk to
important
those
part.
people
That's the
around
thing. At
you.
the end of the day, well, exactly what Craig said. It's
Right.
it's the sharing of knowledge, and so like I've always enjoyed sharing knowledge with people.
Right.
I've always now. I mean,
Agreed.
to a degree, there's
Right.
a lot. I've worked hard for all this. You know, all
100%.
these tools.
Yeah.
You know, but then like. Where would I be with all the people, without all the people that have helped me get here?
100%.
You know,
Yeah.
like I've taken tools from. So there's been so many people out there. Phil Garcia
dude,
alone.
I
Just
watched,
that guy.
I'll never forget watching your level, like go from like you've been doing kind of the same. Like it goes from this shin to this shin.
Right.
It goes from this is fucking Howie then, and this is what Howie can do now.
Right.
You know, and it just it's
the guy
so many
gave me
different levels.
my career back,
Yeah.
you know. But then
Yeah.
like all of them though, Luis and Dave and everybody, you know, they were all
Yeah.
manual, you know, like they all good, all great mentors. But it was just that I was in a different place back then,
Yeah.
you know. And I wasn't ready to take things seriously yet.
Right.
That's it. So I don't remember what the original point of what we were talking about was.
Well,
but,
we
were the teaching thing.
yeah.
I think. See how I brought myself back there?
That's what's up. Dude. You got it. You got it. Howie.
For me, it's like this. When I see shitty tattoos out in the world, it upsets me. It bums me out that somebody did that to somebody, to another
Right.
human. Like, that's fucked up. Like, they willingly did that. So what that tells me is just like with every great or shitty kid, it starts at home with the parents. Okay, this starts with who you were taught by, how you learned, whatever it was. Most of the time, again, anomalies. Guess what? Phil Garcia never had a formal apprenticeship. Okay, the guy could fucking tattoo.
Insane, dude.
You
He's
know,
an artist.
he's insane. But that's what I'm saying. There's anomalies, but so for me, I feel like getting the chance to help stop that, pump the brakes on the shitty tattoos in the world, and like with Mark, my apprentice now, I told him, like, you know, I made it clear to him, look, dude, the entire point of this whole thing that we're doing here is so you learn to tattoo without making all the fucking mistakes that I made.
Right.
I am telling you how to do this. I'm giving you everything I've got, minus the mistakes.
Yeah.
So I guess you can circumvent the process a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it.
But you get what I'm saying, though. Like,
100%.
damn, my edibles are kicking in hard right now.
Wow, nice.
I think it's a beautiful way to end. Dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you
It's
guys
been
for
a
having me
pleasure
back. This was
chatting
super
with you,
fun.
I love you, brother. I
I
miss
love
you,
you
man.
too. Yeah, this
I
is
really do
great.
miss you.
All right,
How
let's
we
start
got a
out there.
V-Rod.
Yeah.
And so
What's your where can people find your shit?
So,
V-Rod, I'm gay tattoos. What? I like a V-Rod in my butt. Is that Howie tattoos?
Jason
Go
thinks
ahead.
my bike is gay, and
I think you're gay.
it's
The bike is an additive.
all right. Well, whatever.
And again, it's not a BMW, so you're not, you know.
It's true. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Chris has a BMW.
Yeah, you know, we know he's gay.
I'm gonna get a different bike soon. Okay.
Yeah. Tell him to fucking calm down, dude. Yeah.
He doesn't want to ride with me because I have a V-Rod, though.
No, I'll ride
He'll
with you.
ride
I don't
with
care
you.
about a V-Rod. V-Rods are fun.
Oh, but you won't wear chaps. That's the
I'm not.
thing.
No, I will not wear chaps, bro.
You're
And
the
we'll
one that
talk
you
about
said
that.
you want. Hey, did you want to get gay or what?
Oh no, that's a different story. I thought you were talking
Okay.
about motorcycles
That's
or
what I
just
was. Oh,
trying
you
to
said
make
when
money.
when I said, "Do you
Yeah.
want to go for a ride?" You thought I meant something different.
Yeah. You said chaps and let's go for a ride. I'm like, well, fuck, man.
fucking,
$20
that's
is
a whole nother
$20.
animal.
It's
I'm
all
in.
coming together now.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, throw out your shit. Where can people find
So
you?
it's Howie Tattoos on Instagram, and that's it. That's the only one I work
Beautiful.
with. That's it. That's all
Yeah.
I do. I tried the TikToks a while back, but I just didn't get into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough, man.
You know, it's-
well,
I don't
we
need-
appreciate you coming on, man.
I thank you guys for having me back.
yeah.
It was
It's been
super
awesome hanging
fun.
with you.
I had a good time.
Having said that, guys, free, easy way to support this podcast. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, Instagram, Spotify, iTunes, all that bullshit. Check out our Patreon. Check out our merchandise. We love you. We'll see you on the next week.
Peace.